I volunteered to go do some measurements for Brenda debates. And I said, I got a football field right next to me. So I could measure, take a theodolite and go across the football field, see if I get diverging zenith angles there. And she's like, oh, it's too small. I said, why? I could just do that across 5 miles. And I won't end up with it. It's funny. But yeah, I had to do a lot of calculations in the process. You know the experiment, how they got the mean density of the Earth, the final straw that actually supposedly proved gravity?
Is it with the deal with that mountain?
Yeah, that mountain thing. Yeah. So what they did is they automatically pre-assume that their zenith angles are coming from the center of the Earth with that radius. So they measure their plumb bobs to that reciprocating zenith angle they call. They do 2 or 3 of them, and they're all coming from the center point of the Earth. They're not measuring from the surface of the Earth. They're pre-assuming to the sphere of the Earth, to the core of it. That's how they model it. But they don't have any measurements to show this. And all they use degrees on a theodolite and the arc of the sky that it's staring at to measure it with. And it took like, they had a special kind of theodolite that actually measures these particular zenith angles at that angle that they use to do it with. It's really just like, they're pre-assuming they're not coming from the surface of the Earth, man, at all. They're not. They're coming from the core of the Earth. They're not touching the Earth. They're pre-assuming their angle from that center point. They're on the protractor itself. They'll take a degree on that protractor, and they're taking that measurement from to the within the I forgot the circumference of the Earth. I remember the radius of it. I could figure it out if I wanted to, but it's 40,000, almost 40,000 miles in the radius of the Earth. So they take that and they use that up, and they go to the center point of that. But on that center point, they take that measurement. You know what they have to have there? They have this thing called the equatorial plane. You've heard of this, right?
No.
It runs through the center of our Earth, all the way through the middle, east to west. It's right on the equator. So they call it the equatorial plane. They have to have a 90-degree angle to find a position up on the protractor above them. That's where they measure to. Everything's pulled to the center of that. That's how they level everything off. That formula. That's how they get their level. It's all done on paper. It's not done in reality, dude. It's not.
I think on the equator it's like 24,000 miles.
Yeah, around
what they would say for
point. Yep.
The ball.
Yeah, and we got the circumference around that radius. That's how they get the sphere. They already pre-assume it before they measure it. And when they go out to measure it, they have to. It gets wonky. It gets ridiculous. They have had to make so many different excuses and apologetics and pseudoscience to make their point. Well, not pseudoscience. I guess you could say they call it science, but it's just geography. And if you look into geography, you'll find out they use level planes to do any geography anywhere. They can't do it without it. It has to be a horizontal level plane, like literally. His got you was like, we can show you curvature by using a theodolite, 2 theodolites. Like you can. And I ran through what they do with it, and they it's not, you're not showing you curvature. They're counting the arc that's on the theodolite, what you're looking through, as the curvature, each degree, because they believe they're on a ball, on a sphere, and they said, well, we don't add the circumference into it or the radius. Is like, well, I'll let them go on, and like you're not telling everybody the real secret behind it. That you're inside the middle of that protractor. They take their measurements from the center of the said sphere. They have to put the radius in, and how they slip it in is they're measuring to what they call gravity, the downward bias that everything has. So they take the gravimeter, and they'll say, well, at this rate, it is curving at that rate, and they level to those gravimeters. They think that's literally level, but no medium in nature does that curve. Water, not even land, not even any kind of gases. They're all level. Okay. But
that's very, very confusing for me because they're using. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I was going to say he wanted me to find him a definition of level that had flat in it. And the only definitions I can find them that have level and flat are in construction working, bridges, buildings, anything of length and depth. But what they got a whole bunch of people to write papers to add in the fact that they measure the gravity, but there's no measurement to gravity when they're building like a road, a bridge, any structures. They're all done level, and they're all done to the surface of the earth, the level surface of the earth.
So they're using gravity as their level and not a freaking.
You're getting it.
Like an air bubble.
The rate that things fall. It's really just an accelerated rate that things fall to find their level. So that's the level they use. But that's why they got that lumpy, bumpy, and like if you look at the original geoids they did, they look even worse. They look like pancakes almost with like rounded edges. It's a horrible model, and they're just models. They're not actually in reality. They just they compare what they think gravity is, what the density of the Earth is. And I asked the guy, like, where do you get the density of the Earth? He wouldn't go into. I said, well, come back on. I'm waiting for him to come back. The door's open for it. I can't remember his name, but he's been on here a couple of times.
I would love to see you. Yeah. I would love to see a debate on that because it's a loss right from the start.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of pre-assumptions. That's the fallacy of the globe. The globe is fallacious. They can model it, but you look at the model and it looks like crap.
I heard the FTFE Craig. He said he was saying seismic activity is how you can tell what's in the Earth.
No. How
I know, right?
Seriously, they can test rigidity of materials in the Earth and see how far it goes out. It depends on what the materials are and what bedrock, granite, stuff like that are really rigid. You're not going to be able to get much out of seismic activity out of stuff like that.